Hi, I'm Darryl Reeves, and I'm sitting here with my good friend Christopher Power.
Hi.
Hi, Chris. Chris is an innovative guy who I've come to know over recent months as a cutting-edge kind of thinker, an innovator, a person who has a great passion to bring lasting change into people's lives. And I've come to the conclusion myself that to change even one person on the planet does change the world. And Chris has a vision that goes far beyond changing the life of one person. Hopefully, it'll make a great impact on you. Chris has spent 3 decades, I believe now, consulting with people, has thousands of clients around the world, people that come to Chris and want his information, rely on his information, and he is someone who's spent many, many years as a scientist studying in geophysics and what else was it, Chris?
Geology.
That's
Geology,
right. Geology and
geophysics.
geophysics. Gee, I don't even know what those things mean. But anyway, it means he's developed some disciplines in his life, and he's got an inquiring mind and a discipline to follow through and understand how things work. And he has compiled cutting-edge science with the best of ancient wisdom to bring about a methodology, a mechanical way, a way in which you can understand yourself better and make better decisions. I guess we all want to know about how to make better decisions, don't we? I know I do. And it's a quest of my life ongoing to make the best decisions I possibly can. And our attempt together here is in this little video is to try and help you, the people that might be watching this down the track, to make the best decisions that work for you, so that you can have confidence going forward in your life that you're making the best possible decisions, understanding yourself, the way you function. You're unique, you know you are. Everybody's told you, and everybody's told me, and everybody's told Chris, we're all unique, we know that. But how do we make the best decisions for ourselves? And Chris,
We're all individuals.
Yeah, you're just a naughty boy. So look, our attempt here in this little session is to add value to your life, to bless your life, to enrich your life, to make you happier, to make you more joyful, more successful, feel better about yourself, and pass it on.
And the way that happens is through where the rubber hits the road is decision making.
Exactly.
You know, you can have all these great ideas, you've created all these great concepts for your life, for your imagination, your dreaming, everything for your life.
Yeah.
But how do you know that that choice or that dream or that vision is a good decision for you?
That's right.
And that's where I've come across some very, very profound technique and information to really help you with that. But before we get into that, I'd like to introduce Darryl. Darryl is a very, very unique person, even amongst a world full of unique people. He really values his unique sovereignty. He's been through a lot of experiences in his life, born in New Zealand, and
an experience.
That's quite an experience.
Well, my mother thought it was.
And having survived that, he's had, I won't go into too much of his background because it's quite profound. He was a world-renowned preacher for one stage and very, very, very good at what he's doing, and very sincere in it. And that sincerity took him to a level where he needed to go beyond that. He needed to grow more as a human being, which happens to everybody. And a lot of people didn't understand that, but he had the courage to step out and to grow more as an individual and grow more as a human being. And that immediately has won great respect out of me, apart from knowing him for a few weeks. An extraordinary person. But at the core, what and who Darryl is he's a catalyst. He is passionate about bringing in innovation. You know, I'm what you would call an innovator, and at a very high level, innovation and prestige. But Darryl is passionate about what he does, about the way he lives his life.
Innovate or die.
Innovate or die. Yes, that's exactly it. Beautifully put. And with that, you know, he's a very energizing communicator. When he communicates, and you need to be with the background that he has, someone who can really bring energy to people.
Hey, I've been selling absolutely nothing to millions of people for 10% of their income.
With integrity.
Yes.
Because, well, it was.
Exactly.
Because when you felt it was true,
I thought
when you felt it was true for you to move on, you did.
Absolutely.
You know, he's an innovative entrepreneur. You know, he's always looking into, and one of the most generous people you'll ever meet, in my experience. And so when I say an innovative entrepreneur, if he sees someone with innovation, with passion, with a good idea, he will give all his energy towards making sure that thing not only happens, but accelerates towards happening, which is what a catalyst does. He's a connector as well. He's not only catalyzes things, but he brings things together so they can work better. And he's a very passionate mentor with a real, and he wrote this himself, human touch. But I know this is true because one of the things he's taught me about is just to enjoy the beauty and the pleasure of the world. You know, what the world has to offer. You know, I've been throughout my life, in a lot of ways, a spiritual person, as people would classify it. And my big learning has been really about what a gift it is to be alive and to be in a physical body and to live in a physical world.
Take time to smell the roses.
Yeah, and as much as we mess it up and get dysfunctional in it all around the world, we human beings are designed, or we're built for pleasure and beauty. We shine when we're happy, when we're experiencing joy, when we experience pleasure.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, and Darryl's a genius at that. You know, he brings that human touch to it. So this is who we are, and what we want to discuss over the following videos and the things that we spend together is how to really take your life to the next level, whatever that is for you, not to the next level that we think you should have. I mean, we'll talk about how we're going to the next level and what's helping us, but it's going to be angled in a way that we talk about what takes your life to the next level, because especially my latest, 7-year experiment or investigation or whatever you want to call it, the thing that came so natural to me was meeting this new science called human design. You know, that just like me, all my life, for over 30 years, I've been blending the best of ancient wisdom with really cutting-edge science and creating something new out of the merging of the two of them. Well, that's exactly what human design is. It draws upon the best of the proven, long-term ancient wisdoms, like the I Ching and the Kabbalah and things that have been around for a long time, and they don't last that long unless it works within at least that culture. It works for people. So human design draws upon the best of that, and it also brings in the cutting edge of what science is about, like neutrinos, like quantum mechanics, like things like magnetic monopoles, which are right on the edge. People are even going, do they even exist? But it brings the two of them together, and it's not promoting one or the other. It's creating out of the two of them something better, something more, and doing it in a way that's so practical because it identifies how you as an individual, a unique individual, not someone who's just like everybody else, but how you as a unique individual are designed to make decisions that work for you so that you can move through the world in a way that takes you to where you really belong. So you can be surrounded by the people you belong with as a unique individual. So it's not going to bring anarchy. It's going to bring all the pieces of the puzzle together so the whole board is laid out and the picture of what humanity is capable of becomes clear. You can see how even just being in Darryl's presence, it catalyzes,
well, it's not one size fits all, is it? It's not like,
it's not at all.
Hey, do this and do that and you'll get that result. It's like understand yourself and work within your abilities. Like if you are unfortunate enough to, be born with one hand instead of two hands, you would have to live your life as a one-handed individual, but that doesn't mean you can't have as much joy and as much happiness and as much success and as much of things that can
really
improve your happiness as a two-handed or a three-handed person. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Does it?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we're now discovering that through things like the Paralympics and, and people who travel around the world with disabilities. And I know several of them.
Well, we're all disabled, aren't we?
Well, in some way, yeah.
Yeah.
As human beings, we're designed to make mistakes.
I know you well enough to know how to say certain levels of dysfunction that we all have. We've grown up with mums and dads and brothers and sisters who've all got levels of dysfunction. We've got our own levels of dysfunction. The tragedy is, one, we can't admit them.
Yeah.
And two, if we do admit them, we can't accept that that's normal.
Yeah.
Right? But if we can accept that we've got them and we can accept that's normal, we go, there's nothing wrong with that. We can be happy in spite of those things,
Well, absolutely. Those things don't bring us happiness. Having them or not having them don't bring us happiness.
Exactly. And so I think what we want to do is try and raise the happiness quotient of individuals looking at what we're saying, listening to what we're saying, giving them science, giving them ancient wisdom, giving them anecdotal evidence, giving them our experience, giving them illustrations, blah, 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 that will make them feel they can literally enjoy the qualities of life that they want to enjoy.
Absolutely.
Nothing beats happiness, really.
And in the process, we'll introduce what I've done with human design, and you can check out whether that's something that will be of value to you.
Yeah.
But, our whole aim here is to bring value to you, to bring insight and inspiration and innovation. That's because we're both really about that.
Yeah.
And innovation is about improving your life, making your life better, but real innovation can renew your life. In other words, you can have a new life, not just a better life, but a new life.
Yeah.
And that has definitely happened in my life many times, but none more than the last few years. And I can see it's happened several times in Darryl's life. And so we feel we have some authority to speak about this. And we also have the methods and techniques that are very precisely designed to help you identify who you are as a unique individual. In other words, we don't want you to join our club or our religion or anything like that. We want you to recognize what a unique gift you are. See, a lot of the dysfunction in the world, some of it is damage, physical damage, emotional damage, spiritual damage, mental damage, whatever. But a lot of what we call dysfunction out there is unrecognized talent.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of ADHD and a lot of autism are human beings who we haven't learned to relate to yet.
Our system doesn't cope with those people.
Yeah, they don't fit into the mold.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're now having to realise that, well, we slowly are realising that, in a sense, these people, a lot of them are harbingers of the future. That human beings that are coming in over the next several decades are going to be very different than the human beings that we know from past experience. And that all of us, including you watching this, and including the two of us, we are unique individuals, and our lives won't really come together and bring us satisfaction and success and delight and peace until we turn up as unique individuals. Yeah. And there are two major trends happening in the world at the moment. And this is one thing I may have shared with you, I'm not sure. But the two bottom line trends happening in the world at the moment are learning to make decisions in a way that's different from the past. Yeah. Put simply, learning how to take the decision-making process, the burden of decision-making, off your mind so it's free to do things it's better designed for, and given to a thing that's called your inner authority, which is far more accurate and far more attuned to our times, which we're ready to embrace. A much more effective way of making decisions that combines what we think is good with us with real physical, real-time feedback about what actually is good for us in this world. Yeah. And the second trend is the emergence of unique individuality In other words, you as a unique individual is going to be what not only helps you thrive in the future, but survive. You know, you cannot survive any longer in the world, and it's becoming evident by just fitting in, by being homogenized, as they say in human design, or just a clone of everybody else. So these are the two things: shifting the way we make decisions and turning up as unique individuals. And both of us are, and you know, we're already well into this process.
We've got 125 odd years experience between
us. Gosh, absolutely.
Yeah, listen to us. We know what we're talking about. We've been doing this for 100 years or more, which
At
we
least
literally have.
We have.
You know, we're both very, very.
You know, I'm no spring chicken.
Well, I noticed that. But you know, we are both, in all seriousness, very, very experienced with processes of life that are able to take people forward.
Yeah.
And it's been our passion. You know, a lot of people, you know, their process of life is that they learn to trade and they're great plumbers, they're great architects, they're great electricians or whatever, and they don't get outside their little zone and investigate so much the workings of their own minds and their own hearts and their own emotions. And I think
even their own bodies.
Their own bodies, exactly. And one of the things that you and I both between us have spent our lives focused on is the innate workings of the human spirit, the human mind, the human heart, and what's the best way to do things. And we've tried lots of things, and we've settled on some things that are working for us now, and that we can see is the future. And I think that's important, that, you know, what you're bringing with the human design to give people the working manual, if you like, of how I function.
Yeah.
Helps me, you know, because when you know how something works, then you can do it all day long. When you're not sure how it works, then you can have luck and no luck. You can have success by accident.
Yeah.
But when you know how it works, you can do it all the time consistently. You've then got something that you can relax into and feel, this is working for me, and my time is going to come, or because of this particular way in which I function personally.
Well, that's a great sort of goal that's sort of emerging out of this conversation. You know, that we want to assist you or inspire you to find out what really works for you in your life.
Yeah.
For you,
yeah.
Not what works for everybody else. And you can learn that too,
yeah.
and become another one.
Yeah.
No, what works for you? What makes you, because when you are living the life you're born to live, you know, living the life that is your life, you shine.
That's right.
That's one of the things that's really common, you know, that apart from the fact that people look comfortable in their bodies, and also have the potential deeper than that to really understand the way their mind works, so that they're not controlled by the mind or even mistakenly thinking they are the mind. But beyond that, people start to shine. They not only say I'm happy, they look happy. Yeah. They don't have to say it. They radiate joy.
Yeah.
You know, when they're experiencing joy, it comes out of them. You know, human beings, one of my greatest teachers would say several years ago quite often, you know, human designs look good when they're in their real selves,
yeah.
when they're experiencing their truth,
yeah.
and living it, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to learn, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You know, what happens is what comes out of you doesn't have to be faked.
Actually, being yourself is the best thing you can do.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're no good at acting as someone else, you need to let that go and be who you are, because that's actually that's the ultimate for you, is being yourself. And everybody else is out there busy learning to do something another way, to be a different kind of person, you know, instead of learning how to be completely comfortable in their own skin as the person that they really are.
Well, we're even we're even creating a culture of accepting that. Because in a sense, a lot of people say, "Oh, be yourself." They think it's just, "Oh, blurt out of your mouth whatever comes into your head," and often that's just stuff you picked up from other people. Act out your emotions. In my case, it was like all my life. I did emotional therapy workshops with people, and it was brilliant because I was acting out everyone else's emotions until I realised that my emotional nature is very reflective in a sense of other people, and it's very non-fixed. It's receptive and tends to act out other people. And when you know that, you can relax with it. So, the key here is it's not about, oh, just act out what you think, and discover who you really are.
Yeah.
Discover it. This is not about conquering life. My whole approach is not about, even my website says master your human design, but it's not about control your human design. It's not about conquer it. It's about discovery. This is a path of discovery where you discover how utterly unique and what a beautiful gift you are. You enjoy it, and then you share it. The greatest gift you can give to others, the greatest gift you can give to life. And if there is something greater than us, if there is a creator or whatever, the greatest sign of respect you can say is, hey, I lived the life that you gave me, let me have without any intervention, and I lived it to its full. And if they're there, they'll be going, right on, wow, that even surprised me.
Mother Nature's made us all a certain way, all unique.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, stress happens in our life when we try to be something that we're not. There's enough stress in life, even when you do find your human design
Sure.
and function in it, because
Yeah.
stress is a normal part of life.
Absolutely.
Stress doesn't have to be bad. Stress can
It's actually built into your design, believe it
can
or
be
not.
a good thing. That's
Yeah.
right. But when you learn what sort of stresses are going to come your way naturally, when they come, instead of fighting against them and creating the added stress, you then realize this is part of my normal pathway, and you exercise a thing called patience. And patience is something that none of us like, but something that when we exercise it, brings, do you? Good for you. I wish
I've learned to.
Yeah, well, I'm not as old
seriously.
as you, but when I am, maybe I'll understand how.
Well, be patient, you'll get there.
But when you do lean back into it, it's kind of like if you've ever been a windsurfer, you know that when you catch that wind in your sail, it creates stress. But without that stress, you can't go anywhere.
Exactly.
And when you lean into the stress, you realize it's the stress that can carry you forward and take you closer to the destination that you want to be at. Lost at sea somewhere, 5 miles from shore, not knowing how to come back. No, I'm just joking.
No, I've done that.
But yeah, exactly.
Actually.
But isn't that stress a good thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got to lean into it. But
it's I call it challenge.
But a lot
because
of people,
challenge makes you stronger.
Yeah.
That's just my word for
but
it.
aren't we educated in an environment where we've learnt to say okay to certain stresses that should never have been ours?
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I was raised in a Christian home by two beautiful parents who I love dearly. My father's passed on now. My mum's still alive, God bless her. But, they raised me to the best of their ability with their values and their systems and their beliefs about God and religion. And, I was a fundamental, Christian who was raised in that environment, went to Sunday school. I was teaching Sunday school by the time I was 12 years of age. And so I grew up with all those kind of values that today, many of them I don't hold to. And they created unnecessary stress in my life that took me 40 odd years to work through and get out of my system and kind of climb out of my mire of wrong thinking, wrong values to come to a place that above the cloud that didn't suit me. They were not designed, they were not for me.
Yeah.
And I've climbed out above the cloud of that, and I've realized, above the cloud, the sun's always shining.
Mm-hmm.
Is there no stress in my life? Of course not. But not the stresses that were holding me back.
No.
Now I've got stresses I can lean back into, and I kind of, like you, learn to welcome these stresses because they are the things that are going to carry me forward. And I think, this is something that 125 odd years of experience between us has taught us, and we've come to the point of wanting to be able to share that with people and give them some tools, give them some understanding, give them, it's okay, you can do this because this is perfectly normal, and let those other things go because they don't work for you. They might work for her or him, but they don't work for you.
Exactly.
And that, I think, is what you've developed over many years of research, trial and error, probably more error, lots of trials. And
not that many, actually. I had trials in my own life and stuff like that, but a lot of this even in human design, I'm called, there's a certain profile or a certain character that I have,
Right.
which means I'm a natural at certain things. Like I reinvented certain other techniques that led to human design, you know, from scratch with no experience in 3 months flat. It was like I reinvented a whole science.
Yeah.
So there was a natural thing there, but the stress for me was more like trying to be someone who fitted in, who's not me.
It's almost like everybody's a prodigy at something.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, some
Absolutely.
child prodigies are playing the piano at 3 and 4 years of age, and everybody goes, oh, wow, that's incredible, you know. And other child prodigies, you know, are doing mathematics at 6 that 16-year-olds can't do, and other prodigies are doing something else. It's almost like we've all got this area of prodigy potential.
We all do, and in fact, most of it is unrecognised because we're looking for it in terms of social standards.
Well, it doesn't fit with
mathematics, music, talents, stuff like that. But one prodigy that you have, whoever's watching this, that I have, that Darryl has, that everybody has, is no one looks at the world the way you do, and no one accesses that information and uses that awareness that you do. In other words, you are the one facet of the world that will never occur, had never occurred before and will never occur again. And your view of the world, your camera, your film, your movie that you're shooting, no one's ever going to see it again. And within that unique perspective, just that alone, if it's truly shared without being conditioned by other people's ideas and concepts and expectations, it's fascinating. It's so entertaining. There was a program on Australian TV quite a few years ago now where this guy went out on the street and just started interviewing people, walking up to people and talking to them. And then when he found someone who would talk to him, he would say, do you mind if we go back to your place? And he'd sit down and he'd interview them. And he'd find them randomly on the street. And he was very good at this. He would just pick it up, and if people weren't into it, no problem. But he would just find people randomly off the street, take them home. I think there was 22 episodes or several seasons of this. And it was the most fascinating show.
Wow.
Because he would get, sometimes people had the most unbelievable lives, just their stories of their lives were just like, and some people were so ordinary and normal, but even that was extraordinary.
Right.
It wasn't like some television program of bogans or, rednecks or whatever, parodying them. It was like a real person with a real redneck or a real bogan or a real whatever. And they would be talking. He had the gift of bringing out from them. I forget the name of the show now, but I loved it. I would watch it and go, oh, it's going to be boring tonight. And 30 minutes later, I was still there, fascinated, And he would draw out of the people their life perspective, their story, what happened to them. Incredible show. And it just proved that the one thing it proved to me is that every single person has a story to tell. I mean, people have said that.
That's right.
But it's true, and it's fascinating if you don't interfere with it.
And that story is actually a valid and worthy contribution to a community of people, not to maybe to everyone on the planet directly, but there is.
But the people who will see that story, means something.
There are people who need to see that story,
absolutely,
need to hear that story, need to relate to that story, need to feel, there's someone else out there like me.
Yeah.
And it's
just feeling recognised.
Yeah, feeling recognised, because we all want to feel that way. We all want to feel like we are of value. I think there's nothing more tragic than a human being travelling through life, getting to the end of the game, and feeling insignificant.
Yeah, what a waste. What
a waste. Because
a diamond travelling through the world, convinced at the end of its life it's a bit of coal or a little bit of trash.
Or a blood cell in my body feeling it's less than any other blood cell in my body. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that ends up as cancer.
There you go. So, unfortunately, this is what's happening to a lot of people. If we're liking each person to a blood cell in a system, in a body, then they're all of value and worth, and they all contribute to the well-being of the whole. and they should all receive some sort of reward. And I guess, one of my motivations, Chris, is to be able to help people enjoy more of the reward that is rightfully theirs as a consequence.
Amen. I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
Amen.
as a consequence of just feeling their uniqueness. And I think between us, we can do this, and we can help people get involved. We want to get involved in your lives. We want to get involved in your business in some way. We want to get involved in mentoring you. We want to get involved in contributing to you. And,
What's in it for us? Hey, if that happens, you'll be a better person. You'll have a better life. In fact, you'll probably have a new life, and you'll become a new, enriched, expanded person. And that's going to add value to our lives.
Of course.
And to the world that we live in. And, I want to leave this world a better world. In fact, I know now that I'm going to leave it a new world.
Sure.
Not just better. But it's not about, I left it and people remember me. It's about, hey, while I'm here, I want it to be as good as it can be.
Well, it gives you instant satisfaction.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what's wrong with instant satisfaction?
Yeah, he's the expert. It's just, look, we're realistic enough to realise and to know, just from our own experience here in Thailand and other places, whatever, around from the news and that the whole world is not a lovely place. In fact, in certain places, it's outrageous. The destruction of human dignity and,
absolutely,
the lack of vision and vitality and character in people, the corruption, all that sort of stuff. On the whole, though, the world is better than it's ever been.
Absolutely.
But it needs to get out of that process or that system that it's in that creates all those terrible consequences for real, living, feeling human beings.
And that's happening. That is happening.
But when you improve your life, when we have a better life, when we enjoy doing this broadcast or whatever we're doing, that adds to making the world new, making the world better. We're not trying to waste your time here or bring you down or grab anything of yours. I'm here, and honestly, I won't speak for Darryl, but I believe from knowing him, we're here to give of ourselves,
sure,
not to give ourselves away, not to waste it, not to be martyrs or anything else like that. I have no desire whatsoever to be a martyr, but I am here wanting to give of myself. Why? Because the more I give, then the more I have to give.
That's right.
It's not what you have that makes you happy or brings you joy. It's what you give.
The richest person is the one that gives the most.
Yeah, that's true wealth.
That's
true wealth. And, well, we've talked about it. I suppose some of you are sitting there going, well, when are we going to get on with this?
Yes. Tune in for session number 2.
Session number 2 or whatever. We'll get stuck right into this. But I hope you get a sense of who we both are and how, how much fun it is for us to work together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely true for me.
Yeah.
And hopefully...
And that's definitely true for him as well.
So... I hope if you do get value out of this, then please tune into the next session. If it feels right, if it's right for you, great.
Yeah.
If it isn't, go find what is.
Yeah, that's right.
If you only see us once and it's just not right, go and find what is, because there's been enough learning through experience of not having in the world.
Yeah.
Now, now we need to live in a world where we really receive the beauty and the abundance of what truly is here.
Yeah.
And we get to live truly wealthy lives, whether we happen to have a lot of money in the bank or not. Because when you get to a point when you're satisfied or at peace or experiencing success, not just having the trappings of it, but experiencing it, or you're experiencing that your life is delightful, it's wondrous. When then you have so much to give. And the more we give of that, the more abundance, prosperity, and wealth we create for everybody.
That's right.
And the money comes and goes. As Darryl said to me earlier today before we did this broadcast, what did you say specifically about money? It's not, what you do. It's not having the money, but it's the money accelerates who you are or what you do.
Oh, okay, yeah. Money, $1 million sitting on this coffee table would not change anything in 1,000 years as long as it sat there.
Yeah.
The money takes on the personality of the person who's controlling it.
Exactly.
So if it was drug money, and I managed to get a hold of it,
Yeah.
then now it's not drug money.
Right.
It's Darryl money that Darryl will do and create Darryl experiences out there. If it was war money or other sort of money, it's going to change its character when it's in the control of the person who's got it. And so that's what money does. Money is just simply a reflection of whoever's controlling it.
So tax takes on the quality of the government it goes to, which means, and government is made up of people in general, and elected or at least brought into power by people.
Yeah.
So, the more people who are truly living the life they're designed to live and loving it, then the more all these money problems, the greed on Wall Street, the, corrupt use of money in all sorts of areas around the world, and that more that will change, because it takes on the more people who any resource, money included, any resource takes on the quality that you bring to it.
That's right.
It's neither here nor there of itself.
Yep.
But if you're bringing to your life the very best of who you are and putting that out into the world, then you are not only going to enjoy your life, but you're going to make this world a better place.
So we're here to spread the love and spread it around with you and share with you and do something great with you, for you, hopefully. And we hope that we get to interact with you on numerous levels, more and more as time goes by.
Correct. Same here, and I totally agree. It's been a pleasure. I mean, we did this in a one-off recording. We had all these ideas, and then we jumped in, and here we go.
Yeah.
So it's been a pleasure talking to you all, and hope to see you again soon in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.